great mausolea, this is something that really stands alone. So the story of Łódź is the story of the Industrial Revolution. Once again, there are no local stories, there are lots of stories that have local iterations. The story of Łódź is the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, and there is the possibility of mass producing garments and cotton cloth for the first time. Manchester, for example, grows up as a huge industrial complex. So does Łódź. Łódź is a city of no importance until towards the end of the 19th century, and then it becomes the center of the cotton industry. Merkaz shel Tasiyat HaKutna v'Tasiyat HaBadim. Poznanski becomes the Gvir, the wealthy Jew over here. He has the Midas touch. And he builds up a huge industrial empire over here. By the way, the city becomes a city filled with a small number of hugely wealthy people and a large number of very poor people. Because the people who work in the factories. The Jews of Łódź, and we saw that for a moment, if you remember, in Polin, in the museum. The Jews of Łódź are divided into a small number of hugely wealthy people, and then many poalim, many workers in the factories. הרבה עניים שבעצם עובדים במפעלים. פוזננסקי הוא סוג היהודים שגם דואג לצורכי הקהילה. He makes a huge amount of money, but he also worries about the community. So, for instance, the hall that we were in, the land that the cemetery is built on. A lot of what you see over here is the result of his philanthropy. And it's that difficult question that you always face. You know, when you're looking at the issues of people with great wealth. There isn't a single Jewish community in North America that isn't dependent in some way on a local gvir. אין אף קהילה בארצות הברית שלא תלויה קצת באיזשהו גביר מקומי עם הרבה כסף. I'm not sure what the situation is in Cape Town or Johannesburg, but I'm guessing from what I remember, it's also the same. There is a tradition in Jewish community, an age-old tradition, that there are gvirim that actually step forward to help maintain the institutions of the community. Poznanski, and you go look in a moment to go and have a look inside, because what you see is nothing. Have a look at the ceiling in a moment inside. It's extraordinary. It's extraordinary. Poznanski doesn't only plan his mausoleum, by the way. So people often say he must have, the people after him must have had great respect to him, and people like Poznanski also plan their funerals. They also plan what their mausoleum is going to look like. לפני שהוא נפטר, הוא דאג שיהיה לו אחוזת קבר, כמו פה. And he basically, what you have, this is a family plot, and then on this side and on that side are families that were connected, because the wealthy families over here, they married each other. These guys all married each other. It's an age-old system of keeping money in the family. You make sure that your daughters and your sons marry other wealthy families. It's not, nothing's new under the sun. אין חדש תחת השמש. זה מה שקורה. המשפחות המיוחסות מתחתנות אחד עם השנייה. So this really dominates the cemetery, but you'll see that the cemetery this is the largest Jewish cemetery in the world. It's absolutely huge. It is not as big as it used to be, because they built a new road on that side and they took away part of the cemetery, but it goes on for a long way in that direction, a long way in this direction. You'll also notice something in Poland in the cemeteries which is quite unusual, or I don't know it. It's definitely not the same way in South Africa, and it's definitely not like that in Israel. פה יש משהו שונה מבתי הקברות שאני מכיר בארץ ובדרום אפריקה. יש בחלקים מהבית קברות הפרדה בין הקברים של גברים ונשים. In parts of the cemetery, men and women are buried on separate sides. I don't know, maybe some of you know more than I do about cemeteries in other parts of the world, but I have to say I was quite surprised when I learned that about Polish cemeteries. This is not, in Israel it's definitely not the case. So I don't know enough about cemeteries in other, I don't know. Sorry? This is not the area really of Hasidut. Hasidut is much further south, generally, from where we are. There was Hasidut, but this is not the area of Hasidut.
In Israel, you're not allowed to bury a lady between two men, strange men. So maybe you're not allowed to.
Okay.
So I have a little experience with that, unfortunately. So maybe because of that, he figure if he's a Jewish man, he will separate it to make sure he's doing the right thing. Maybe.
Fair. That was in English, right? חד ושפחה שבארץ היא אומרת שאסור לקבור גבר בין שתי נשים לא מוכרות.
או אישה בין שני גברים.
או אישה בין שני גברים.
נכון.
אבל בדרך כלל בבית הקברות כנרת, כצנלסון קברו בין אשתו והמאהבת שלו.
No, really?
In the Kinneret Cemetery, Beryl Katzenelson